How's it going, backpackers? Dave here with Off-Grid. I'm into backpacking, hiking, camping, and gear. Welcome back into another edition of a playlist that is ongoing that I like to call Backpacking Hacks and Pro Tips. Fun fact for you, I also have a shorts running list of videos that you can check out too that I call Backpacking Quick Tips. So this is all just kind of like super quick tips that you can use when you're out in the field and in the backcountry. So I have 3 other videos before this one that you can check out. If you haven't checked those out, head on over, check those out, and come over here. They're not in sequential order or anything, but I have a few other videos. This is the 4th video. I usually like to include about 5 tips. I got another 5 for you here today that I'm going to be going over. Let's just dive into the list for you. What do you say? The first of which, and I'm looking around for it because I can't find it right now. Let me go grab it real quick. Slide right into the frame. First of which I'm going to talk about, I've talked about this a little bit in the past, but this is called the Scoopy. It is just it's actually a part measuring scoop because they have, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to pick it up on camera there. They have little notches on the side here. They have cc's on one side, but I'm not a doctor, so I don't know that one. And then they also have, this one goes by tablespoons. So half tablespoon, tablespoon, and 1.5 tablespoons. So you fill up your powders. I usually take like small snack size Ziploc bags, especially if you have different powders for different things. So I have it for like a chocolate MCT, sort of like a protein powder. If you want to buy your electrolytes in bulk and not the individual packet sizes, you can do that as well, just as long as you know how to measure them out. So I usually put them in individual baggies, and then I dump them into here, and then you just close the lid. You pop this black thing off and you just dump it right out into your smart water bottles or anything with more of that narrow mouth that you can't fit your powders into. So like I said, I bring like protein powders, you can do electrolytes, you can do, I have like a dry powder, just like it's like an instant tea type of powder. You can use it for creamer in the morning. You can use it for a lot of different things when you're out there. So this definitely kicked up my drink game by a lot. But that is tip number 1 that I have for you tonight. The second one that I'm going to show you here is another one that I've talked about a little bit in the past, and that's this guy right here. This is a modified Lixida drinking straw. So it actually comes apart here. Comes in a few different pieces. They have a thicker tube wall, and they have this thinner one that goes into your your bottle directly. But what I did was I modified this so that this whole piece goes into my bottle, and I have it on a sleeve right here on my shoulder strap, and it's got a little bite valve here, kind of mimicking the bladder style of tubes in the old filtration system, but obviously it's a lot easier to clean if you don't have a large tube. So I cut down the wider tube, so this is the wider piece all the way down, so that all I have to do is insert it into my smaller water bottle. I usually have like a 20 ounce because a liter kind of comes up like a little bit higher, and this works really well. So I had to put this bite valve and the thicker tube on it because originally I had it with just this thinner straw, and for whatever reason physics escapes me, but it ended up like shooting out of the straw constantly with gravity and whatnot. So you have to have this thicker piece on there, long story short, to not have your liquids come shooting out of your straw. That sounds really weird, but anyway, Lixida straw, it's going to work really well in the field, and it also enables me to just quickly and easily like go over and grab a quick sip rather than having to take the water bottle out. And if you have a flip top, do that, or unscrew the lid and take a drink and put it back. So definitely a little bit more lazy man, but makes your overall comfort when you're on trail a little bit better there. The third tip that I'm going to go over is going to be heel locking your shoe. If you don't know how to do this, this is another one of the shorts that I had made. I'm probably going to throw it up on screen right now for you to take a look at. And it's really quick and easy to do. I primarily use this method when I know that I'm doing a lot of downhill action on a day hike, or when I'm backpacking. If I know that I'm going to be doing a lot of miles on a descent in a day, then I'll quickly typically just do this one type of knot on my shoes, on both of my shoes, and that really just helps center and lock your foot in place so that it's not sliding around. Particularly if you have the wider toe box style of shoes like the Ultras or whatever, your foot's going to be sliding around a little bit more. So you don't want to have black toe. You don't want those toes to be hitting up against the front wall of your shoes. So this technique prevents that from happening. You don't necessarily have to do it all the time. You can do it all the time if you want to, but again, I primarily use it when I know that I'm going downhill throughout the day. That is it for tip number 3. Tip number 4 here, before getting into the last one, is going to be to put your chair, if you bring a seat when you go to the backcountry, there's a little tip, and you might have already thought of this one, but if you haven't, this will save you some time. Quick tip: when you're done at night and you're ready to crawl into your tent at night, you don't have to disassemble your chair. You can most likely, if you have a tent, this is primarily for you tent campers out there, not really for the hammock campers, but you can do something similar. So for you tent campers, all you have to do is put your chair underneath your vestibule, and it's pretty much good to go. So make sure that the back wall is up against or closer to the mesh of where you unzip the tent, and then where it slopes down on your vestibule, where the wall comes down, that's where the shorter end, where you kind of stick your butt, is going to be facing out. And depending on how big your vestibule is, you won't even really have to worry about condensation or anything else like that collecting at night. I've even, if I didn't have enough space to put my backpack, I put my backpack up off of the ground, but still in the seat and still underneath that vestibule at night. So it's a really good way to save you a little bit of time. You don't have to disassemble your chair at night and then put it back together again if you're going to have breakfast the next morning or whatever. And it's just an easy way to stow that chair and stash it at night. So that's a quick tip on that. And then the last tip here, and apologies again, I gotta go get it. I'll be right back. That was just all for dramatic effect. The last one here is actually in this envelope, so I'm going to be doing a little bit of an unboxing here for you guys in real time to show you what I got. It's a new piece of gear that I obviously haven't even used yet, but let me show you what it is. And is that it, really? That's it. It comes in a padded envelope, so definitely well padded, but this is it right here, and you probably still can't even see it, but it shows you, and it tells you right here, you got the Take Less, Do More, and that is obviously Gossamer Gear's tagline there, but it shows you right here, it says Gossamer Gear Inc. Top Shelf Gear Attic 1. But basically, I think on their website, they just call it at the top shelf. And what this is, as I'm kind of taking it out, I'll try to describe it for you guys. Man, it's really well packaged. What it is you got to think of all you hammock campers out there who have that ridgeline organizer that goes from like head to toe. This is basically the tent version of that, but it goes from left to right when you're in your tent. And this is specific more so for the either the 1P or the 2P tents that have the dual pole design or uses 2 trekking poles specifically for that. But what you do, and this is literally all it is, I think it weighs like 0.3 ounces or something like that, and it's super light, and it really wasn't that expensive either. It's like 10 bucks MSRP. I even got this on sale, and that's all it is. So you're gonna hang this up on your tent at night. In between the 2 poles, you just run some cordage in between, and it's got little toggles right here that you can wrap around your cordage. And obviously you want to face the pockets because the pockets have a little bit of an indent right here. So you want to face the pockets like towards you. But basically what this gives you is 4 additional pockets and a little bit better organization when you're in your tent. So particularly because I have the one by Gossamer Gear as well, not to try to be a fanboy or anything, but works really well with their tent. But the one only has 1 pocket in it, and it has a tapered floor, so there's not a lot of ground space to kind of put my stuff, so I usually end up like tucking it in between my pad and stuff like that, and it's really easy to lose stuff or just kind of get messy with it. So you can stuff a lot of different things in here: your phone, your headlamp, your toiletry kit, your electronics kit, whatever you want to keep up off the ground, but still keep organized and know where it is. This is gonna definitely come in handy for that. But yeah, that's the last tip that I have for you. Or, I mean, even if you don't want to grab this, you could probably jerry rig your own piece of like mesh or something like that. If you wanted to do like a DIY project, but that just kind of goes seamless with the tent that I have. But that's it. That's all I have for you this week, guys. That's an additional 5 backpacking hacks and pro tips for you. Let me know all about your thoughts on these tips this week. I know it was a little bit more gear centric, but let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And remember, if you headed off grid, make sure you do your research and you make it a safe one. I'll see you guys on the next one.